space with you. Thank you for taking the time on a Sunday night to come here to the Mothlight. Thank you to the Mothlight for hosting us. Thank you to Johnny for the sound and for Dennis for being here to take care of us. I wanted to start with telling you who I am. And my friend Janisha reminded me that who we are isn't just a resume. It is like stuff we're made of. And so I wanted to tell you that being born in the Sandhills of South Carolina, I am very much sand. I am part of a grain of a bigger human family. I'm the oldest of 8 kids, so I'm part of a very big actual family too. I am part of brokenness. I'm part of things that are crushed up because the society that we're in, the culture that we're in, has allowed systems of oppression to perpetuate harm to our neighbors. But I am also able to be made into usefulness, because sand under incredible heat and pressure can be made into glass. Glass that we need in the windows of our homes, glass that we need for our community gardens to have greenhouses so we can feed our families, glasses that can create lenses to correct our perspective, and glass that can be made into magnification in case we need to dig into the details and start a little fire. So, one of the ways that I'm asking you to help me be my useful self is I'm asking for your vote because I'm running for city council in 2020. I'm asking you to help me in this because I can't do it by myself. It's going to take many, many, many of us coming together if we're going to have a resilient community like I know that we're capable of. We have everything that we need here in our beautiful mountains to better take care of each other and the planet. We're going to start with fare-free regional transit, connecting people to each other. We know that transit is at the intersection where equitable access, economic mobility, and meaningful climate change response come together. It's not just access to housing and jobs and childcare and education. It's access to each other. It's access to community. It's access to faith community. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do it really well. It's going to be something that we can be really proud of. I know that there's so many of us who, when we think about like housing insecurity or if we might lose our house, and we have so many neighbors in our community that are unhoused, but what I think we're going to have to do together is come up with really creative solutions. There are people in this room who've been working on affordable housing policy. There are people in our community working on tiny home villages. I understand that the windows just went into the beloved tiny home village first house today. So that's really exciting. We're going to need to support the community land trust because we know that we're already on stolen land and that we have built this country with stolen labor. So we're going to heal our community, and we're totally capable of that. But the communities that were harmed by redlining and urban renewal, we need to reestablish some trust and relationship by giving the people what they need, which is the land and money to thrive. We're going to do that, and we're going to do it really well. And the third thing that I'm really excited about, and I get the most questions about, is participatory budgeting, and it's part of participatory democracy and bringing people into the conversation about how decisions are made and how our money is spent. So if we do it the way that it's being done in Greensboro and Durham, you can start voting on participatory budgeting, which is essentially like a pool of grant funds, but you vote outside of the government process. So you can vote at a library or at a school or at a venue or at a food truck. And you can start voting when you're in middle school. And you can start voting regardless of your documentation status. So it's literally the entire community coming together to build real things. So some of you, when you signed up to come tonight, I read what you said. You said that we needed bike lanes. I heard bike lanes a lot, sidewalks, crosswalks, so that we can safely cross the street. That's being done already with participatory budgeting, and I'm ready to put the people's voice in the front of this conversation. So a little bit later on, we're gonna see a video about how some of the other cities are making participatory budgeting work, but it is my hope that if we can do this, and we can do it really well, is that our young people are looking for the adults in the room to come together around some real tangible solutions. And if they are allowed to participate in what that looks like, it will be a great cause for joy and celebration in our community. And that joy will be contagious. It will affect parents, workplaces, the entire community. And then we'll start having a conversation about how we spend the rest of our resources. So it's my hope that we can bring people in and keep people in. Thank you so much for joining in this conversation with me tonight. We're going to have a very, very heavy lift running into 2020. We have like 70 days left until the primary on March 3rd, so please mark your calendar for March 3rd. Early voting starts the week of Valentine's. Voter ID is going to be required in 2020, so it's really important to know that you do not have to go to the DMV to get a voter ID. You can go to 77 McDowell to the Board of Elections. They're making it a little bit easier there, and you don't have to wait in line at the DMV. So help me spread the word about voter ID. Help me spread the word about bringing people to the conversation and getting out the vote. And because we can't do any of this work by ourselves, we have to come together. I'm going to invite my friend Nicole Townsend on stage because she's running for city council with me.
My name is Nicole Townsend, and I'm running for Asheville City Council in 2020. Each time Kim and I sit around my kitchen table and have our tea and coffee, we talk about how much this work needs to be collaborative because we cannot do it alone. Kim has been modeling what it is like to be a white co-conspirator in the city of Asheville. What it is like to be a white person who openly acknowledges their privilege and is not afraid to take the leadership of Black and brown folks. And so, as I look around this room to majority white folks, I ask you to sit down with Kim and have a conversation about what it means to be a co-conspirator in Asheville and not just an ally. Because as we move into 2020, we need co-conspirators, not allies. Co-conspirators join arms with us and do the work. Allies sit back and watch us do the work. I appreciate you. One of the reasons that I'm running for Asheville City Council in 2020 is because I believe nothing for us without us. And for too long, many of the policies and ordinances that have been put into place have been without us. And when I say the us, I mean Black, queer folks who have grown up in poor and working class families. So many times, our local government says, this is gonna help the community, this is gonna help the community, and no one on council knows what it's like to live on the margins. Raise your hand if you feel safe in your neighborhood. Raise your hand if you own your own home. Raise your hand if you don't have to worry about where your next meal comes from. Raise your hand if you have ever lived in public housing. Raise your hand if you have ever been afraid of the police. We need council members who know what it's like to be on the margins, what it's like to come from poor and working class families, so we don't make assumptions when we are saying yes or when we are saying no. The pillars of my platform, in which align deeply with Kim, are education equity, environmental justice, and public safety. I believe that Kim and I can work with everyone in this room to create the Asheville that we deserve. Yes. In 2020, I want to be standing up there with Kim as we take that oath and become 2 of your next Asheville City Council members. invite you, if you like early mornings or late nights, to come have tea with me and Kim so we can talk more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cuando el invierno llega, tu techo sufre las inclemencias del clima. Un techo de metal fabricado por Go Metal dura 3 o 4 veces más que una teja tradicional. Con los paneles metálicos Go Metal, usted puede incrementar el valor y mejorar la belleza de su casa por un mismo precio. Go Metal es el proveedor más grande del oeste de Carolina del Norte y trabajamos con materiales y calibres que te ofrecen una garantía de hasta 40 años. Llámanos al teléfono 828-492-1616 o al 828-492-1606 o visítanos en el 3091 16 Pigeon Forge Road en Canton, Carolina del Norte. Go Metal. MC Servicios Latinos te ofrece el mejor asesoramiento para tus impuestos y si tienes un negocio, te ofrecemos asesoría, bookkeeping y payroll. Además, seguros para auto, casa, negocio y compensación laboral. Si necesitas obtener o renovar tu ITIN, hazlo directamente en nuestras oficinas. Te esperamos de lunes a sábado en la 34 New Leicester Highway, Asheville. O llámanos al 828-582-0823. MC Servicios Latinos.